How's it going? Welcome to the live stream. Man, oh man. Hope everyone's having a great day. I think the audio is fixed, hopefully. It seemed to be fixed. And then, actually, I set this up like an hour before I come down here, so everything's perfect, everything's set up, everything's ready to go. I came down here like 5 minutes before the live stream, and I turned on everything, and all of a sudden there was no audio at all. I'm checking everything, turning everything off, and finally it came back on. So hopefully it should be good. It looks like it's not spiking. So, whew. Oh man, oh man. Excuse me. All right, let's get this thing started. If you're watching the repost, make sure to leave comments or any ideas or any questions you have or anything you want to know about or discussions you want to have that we can talk about. Or if you're watching now, go ahead and leave them. Hey, what's up, Chip? You made it on time. Right on. Me too. Oh, man, oh, man. Whew. What a week, what a week. Man, so let's just jump right into it. Um, Actually, let me step back. Also, if you're new here, I like to talk about our passions. You know, my passion is knife making. Actually, lately it's been more about cameras and doing live streams on YouTube than it has been knife making, which is kind of the whole reason I wanted to do this priorities over progress because man, I was looking back through my videos and some of these knives I've been working on for way too long, and it's kind of the reason I've only been putting up like one video a week because I've been trying to catch up on, doing everything without bringing the camera into it and making a video out of it. And, I'm trying to make the actual videography better, but I think what's suffering is the actual tutorials because I'm so focused on the camera work and setting everything up and getting all this done that I'm not really focusing on what the actual part of the content is. Because, excuse me. And, Chip, Chip said, no intro for the live stream. If you guys watch Cat's Cradle Forge, which actually one of the thing is Cat's Cradle Forge, I think he had some copyright strikes. So he made a new channel. It's like Cat's Cradle Forge Part 2. And if you guys don't know, he used to be Workshop of Death, and I think that's where some of the problems came in. So he changed to Cat's Cradle Forge. But if you guys want to learn about forging from like rudimental, build your own stuff and use what you got to make these awesome things, that's the channel to check out. But anyway, on Cat's Cradle Forge's second channel, he made a new intro that's like a minute long. And I commented, when I was studying YouTube and how to get these 1,000 subs and how to be best and all this stuff about being a YouTuber, they say keep your intros, if you want to have an intro, down to 12 seconds. Because people with short attention spans, they see this long intro, they're going to click away. And then Chip was commenting how he doesn't really like intros, and he doesn't even like my intro, which, I'm sure he thought, oh man, I don't know if I should say that, but I've always said honesty is, it's better to keep someone in check and tell them, hey, I don't really like this than to be fake and be like, oh, that's great, yeah, I watch it every time. Because even my favorite channels, Peter McKinnon, I always talk about how he's like my favorite guy for photography. I skip his intros. Matty Hapoya, all these guys, the intro's coming, you see them do the little starting point, like how I'm like, hey, how's it going? Welcome to the channel. All right, roll. And then, are you ready? Here we go. And then I do the intro. Well, a lot of YouTubers do that, but anyone I watch, I always skip that intro and then go right into the content. Which is okay because you've seen that intro. If you're a subscriber that has watched for a long time, it's coming. But so skipping is not a problem. I think the intros are mainly for new people, because that's the whole thing about YouTube. It's like draw them in, keep their attention, show them what they're here for, and then get on with the content. which, that's really kind of one of my topics today about in the whole priority and progress, because lately I've been pushing away from all the rules. You have to do this to get subscribers. You have to do this to get subscribers. And, this is the way to build your channel. And if you do this, you're going to be hurting your channel, and so on and so on. And yeah, I've instead of being putting out 2 videos in the live stream, I've only really been doing 1 video in the live stream, which, my subscribers, I was getting like 150 subs a month. And now I'm down to like 90 a month. In fact, excuse me, I'm getting too excited. I'm all out of breath. I've been running up and down the stairs trying to get everything ready. But anyway, so yeah, I'm down to like 90 a month, and I'm almost about to hit the 2,000, subscriber mark. And this last 100 to get from 1,900 to 2,000 has taken a lot longer, because my priorities have not my priorities haven't changed, but the way I look at what I want to put out as content and what I want to make this channel is a lot different. I'm not even reading, I'm ranting. Hey, what's up, SLG Foxy? Actually, you're not late. You're, 8 minutes? hope you've been having a good week. Oh, man. But so, yeah, and a lot of these rules, and they will help you build your channel and all that stuff, but they will also, if you get too caught up in that, you'll get so focused on, oh man, I got to do this right, I got to do this right. But your content kind of suffers because you're not doing what the whole reason if you're a vlogger, it might be different or stuff like that. But when you're doing tutorials, your main focus should be what you're giving the tutorials about. Not how good the camera looks, or, how this looks and that, which is still important, but it's that balance I'm always talking about. And when you got OCD, it's real easy to get caught up in every shot being perfect and everything being perfect. So, thanks, Chip. He says the audio is spot on. Yeah, I don't know what happened last week. Oh, I do. I actually put a new battery in my mic and just made sure everything was working. So I think the battery was going dead. So, because I haven't changed anything with any of the other settings. So, whew. So speaking of progress, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, I've been working on kydex. I've almost got this sheath done, nice and snappy for the fillet knife. I got, all these are almost done. Bam. Now this karambit, man, I made 2 of these. The first one I messed up. It's just such a weird and awkward shape to make a sheath for. But it's working out pretty good. So, but man, it's such an awkward shape. And then this one, Steve's knife, man, because of all these little, indentations and all that, this was a really hard knife. And it's hard to kind of put it in like that. It wants to go in a couple different ways, but so yeah. See, that's what made me think about it. Like, I'm on Facebook and a few other places, and people are asking me, "Oh, how do you do this? Like, how do you do your kydex, or how do you do this thing?" And I'll go, "Oh, I got a video on that." And I go to look up the video, and it's like almost a year old. I haven't done anything on kydex in like a year. I haven't done how to etch logos, and so it's like, man, I'm SLG Foxy, one nice karambit. Thanks, appreciate that. So, yeah, I just gotta focus more on getting stuff done, cause I don't know. I guess it's my the way my OCD works. It's like I have to do all of this, or all of this, or all of this. Like lately I've been writing a lot more songs. Since I got sick that one time. Excuse me, my nose is running or something. Getting too excited down here. That's gross, but sorry about that. It's better than watching me sit there and rub my nose all the time. But anyway, oh, I lost my track of thought. Oh, man. Oh, that's what it was. So I've been writing a lot of songs. You know, when I got sick a couple weeks back, it's probably been actually almost a couple months now, I was like really getting into my music. So, and that's kind of like stepped in the way of me making videos too, because I'll sit down and I'll write a song or I'll start on something new, and before I know it, it's like I've been sitting there for 6 hours writing this song, and I'll be like, oh, I'll just spend a little bit more time, then I'll get up and work on knives, and then that little time turns into like 2 more hours. All right, well, it's too late. I'll eat some dinner and sit down and you know, watch some videos or something, and then I'll go work on some knives. All of a sudden, I'm sitting there playing guitar again, or bass, or you know, whatever. So I really gotta find that where I work on music in the morning, maybe because when I wake up, I'm all groggy and don't want to do anything. So if I sit down and play guitar, it wakes me up and gets me going. But then it's like, man, I get so caught up. So I gotta try to kind of like figure out how to schedule, you know, music for 2 hours. Come down and make knives for 2 hours. Set up and make a tutorial for 3 hours, you know, and all that stuff. But yeah, so I've really got to figure it out. Now, you know, for a long time, my focus was so driven on building this channel. And you know, all right, I hit 1,000 subs. Now I got to keep going and keep going and keep going and make it better and better and better. But it was just, you know, once again, that balance was gone because I wasn't making knives. I wasn't finishing knives. I was just doing you know, I would come down here and just do enough knife making for the video. And then it's like, oh, well, I can't make more, or I can't work on the knife anymore because I got to wait to make the next video. So it was really, you know, my priorities were all messed up, and it was really messing up my knife making. But you know, it's something when you try, like I said a couple weeks ago when I got sick, I was doing a lot of thinking and worrying about all these rules and all this other stuff, and oh man, I got to do everything this way and perfect it this way. But anyway, let's get off that topic. I think what really got me on the thing of priorities is, you know, Monday I wanted to come down here and shoot whatever video it was. Oh, I know, it's the Hamones, because I want to do these Hamones, which I learned something about Scotch-Brite belts. Any of you guys that use Scotch-Brite belts that want to stone wash or two-tone your blades, it's not a good idea. Now this might be, you know, because of my experience or whatever, but what I did is, you know, I brought this up to like a 300 grit, and then I hit it on the Scotch-Brite, which made it, you know, really shiny and really polished and look really spectacular. But when I went to stonewash it, I think I shared in the last live stream how it like faded the edges. You know how the Scotch-Brite comes over the edges and kind of blurs everything together. Well, when you stonewash it, that doesn't come out right. It's kind of faded. Let me see. And it's like all these knives I hit on Scotch-Brite, I had to go back down to like a 300. Is that garnish in there? Let me see if I can turn this light on. I had to go back down to like a 300 or 200 and bring it out so I could re-stonewash it. And I had to do the flats over and everything so I can, you know, acid etch it. Because I like to do that two-tone. You know, I like to have it where it's stonewashed on the flats and then the bevels are like a high polish. So, but that Scotch-Brite really made it hard to etch. It was just like, you know, you could tell wherever the Scotch-Brite hit. And my theory is because the Scotch-Brite, say you go to a 400 and you use a Scotch-Brite, well, the Scotch-Brite shines it to make it look like a 1200. So it's really crisp and really shiny. But it's taken, you know, the way it hits is blurring everything out. Instead of going like 400, 600, 800, 1000, 1200, you know, it's just blurring everything out and making it really look like a high satin polish. Now, if you don't want to etch your blade, it looks amazing. And it even hides a lot of flaws. Like if you got facets and stuff and you're a beginner knife maker or whatever, Scotch-Brites, man, are a real easy shortcut. You know, in fact, I've heard a lot of guys being like, oh, now I only go like 36 to rough everything in, and then maybe like an 80, and then 120, and then go to Scotch-Brite, and I'm done. Which, right, it looks good, and it looks finished, and it looks like a high satin polish. But, you know, I've said that before, when you take shortcuts and you skip steps, it might look good, but that don't mean it is good. Bootleg Blades, how's it going? Hope your day's going fine. Yeah, man. Whew. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do tomorrow is start redoing this one. Actually, if you remember, on this karambit, I was trying to do it Hamones, but then I was like, you know what? Oh, you can't see it. I got tape on it. I re-etched this and re-stone washed it, and I'm not even going to bring out the Hamon in this. Let's see. I'll have to clean that. I'll have to clean that I'll have to clean these out. Once you make them like this, you have to go wash them out, or I like to go wash them out with soap and make sure there's no burrs, because one thing about kydex, if you don't clean it and thoroughly open it up and clean it out, when you slide your blade in, you'll get a big old scratch across the bevel. And that's the one thing I don't like about kydex. Man, it'll scratch your blade up big time. I actually had a cleaning lady come down here, what was it, last week. And, you know, she's the same lady that cleans my upstairs, you know, takes care, well, she doesn't take care of my mom, but she cleans the house because I'm a pretty messy person. Don't they say, what's that saying? The sign of genius is a messy person, like Einstein was really messy and stuff like that. Or maybe that's just what messy people tell everyone to make them think they're smart. Oh, man. Man, that tape really sticks. But yeah, so let me see if I can turn this to a white. There we go. So, you can still see the Hamon, see, like right here. I'm trying to look in the computer, and so I'm trying to, but let's see if we get it. Yeah, see, you can still see the Hamon, but it's a real nice stone wash. And there's the tape side. But see, now I can't put it in here because it'll be all scratched up, so. But anyway, by the way, when on my tutorials, and actually anyone's tutorials, I've probably said this before. Oh, now I got tape on my feet. Oh, that's from the oven. When you're watching tutorials, you know, like the tutorials I do on knife making or whatever it is, you know, this is what works for me. I'm not telling you, you have to do it this way. In fact, you might try it the way I'm telling you to do it, and it comes out wrong, or you mess up your blades. Yeah, Bootleg's Blade says, but kydex looks way, way faster. Oh, man, I probably would have poured that all down my face. That whole top came out. I've never tried leather. I bought leather a long time ago, and all the tools to do it, but it's kind of like the folder and the friction blade. It's on that to-do list. Oh, man. Kydex plus, well, yeah. I don't know much about leather. But I had an awesome idea because if any of you guys have been here for a while, you know, like I've had people say, can you do sharpening videos? In fact, I think Chip even asked me if I could do a sharpening video, but man, my sharpening skills are on the low side. They're probably the weakest part. And it might be like that mental block. That's why I'm not finishing knives so fast. Because I know I have to get that sharpening part done, which is actually, yeah, there we go. Which is actually pretty, goes against, you know, I'm sitting here telling you, oh, just keep working, just keep doing, and push through, and man, you'll get better, and this and that. And here I am letting fear of sharpening knives conquer me. But anyway, I had this awesome idea. I don't know if you guys, hold on one second. On my platen, I made this piece right here. So it slides up and down. It's like a top platen, you know, and you can move it up and down. So when your belt comes over, you have this to sharpen on. And that's exactly what I made it for. But I was thinking, if I redo this with a piece that comes up, like even comes in here or something, so there's another plate that comes up that I can pivot, I can actually make it so I could set that angle, and then every time I sharpen my knife on this, it'll be the exact angle I want and perfect every time. Kind of like the wicked edge times 100. But that was just oh man. That was a bad idea. So that's another idea. I just came up with that last night. Now how long it's going to take me to make that, you know, just like the jig, you know, if you guys watch that video where I was welding and stuff, he uses, Bootleg Blake says he uses a Pro Edge, or Edge Pro. You know, you guys probably know Martin. He's been on this channel for a while. He needed some parts for his 2x72 he was building. And I actually had an extra platen and all that, and a few wheels and all that. So I traded him all those parts for a Wicked Edge. Now, I will say the Wicked Edge, you know, it'll put that perfect edge on there. And I don't know. I like it, but I don't like it. It just seems to take a lot longer. You know, you got little stones and, yeah, I don't know. It's supposed to be to make your edges more productive and more precise and all that stuff. Which, Bootleg Blade says he's getting a motor for Martin. Oh, sweet. But, yeah, the Wicked Edge, it's great. But it's, I don't know. If I could build that on my grinder and get a burr off my grinder, because see, I've even done that where, you know, I'll get the burr on my grinder because I set my grinder up to run in reverse. But I had to take the old arm. If you guys watch for a while, I took the old arm off because it was messing up and all that stuff. But I think if I can make a jig where I could set the angle on top of that little top platen, then boom, boom every time, and just go to like a 800 grit belt, hit it on the strop, and I'm good to go. Yeah, Bootleg Blade says he has the Edge Pro and the stones only go up to 1,000 and never go past 800. See, in fact, I don't know. plus, you know, well, for me, I'm not saying this is the lazy way. For me, it's not like I'm cheating, but I feel like I should learn on whetstones. I feel like, if something comes up and something goes wrong or something, you might not have your wicked edge, or whatever, but I don't know. Jeremy from Simple Little Life does that whole thing, and he went and did a class on how to use whetstones. And the guy that got me into knife making, that's all he does is use whetstones. So, and the wicked edge is sweet because you can set the angles, and all that. Where a lot of the other ones, it's kind of give and take and all that. But, it's all, everyone has their own preferences and their own ideas. Oh, the stones go up to 10,000. Oh. Yeah, see, Chip says he uses a 6,000. That's what I do. I use on the whetstones. See, Wicked Edge only goes up to 1,500. And, but, man, why does this top keep coming off like that? That's annoying. Come on. There we go. I need to stay hydrated. I use like a 1,000, 6,000 stone whetstone. But it's a good technique to learn how to use whetstones. And, yeah, there's a whole thing about, I don't know if you guys ever watch Go Customs. He hasn't put out a video on YouTube for probably years. G-O-U-G-H, Go Customs. But, man, he did a lot of these tests on which steel is the best. And, do you want a toothy, sharp knife or do you want a really slick, like fillet knife? And man, he has a bunch of stuff on sharpening and stuff like that. Yeah, I like whetstones, man. I just need to get better at them. I need to get better at sharpening altogether. But man, yeah, my friend that got me into knife making, he's all into chef knives, and I guess that's how he got into knives. He's into cooking and all that, and buys all these expensive, really nice chef knives. Which is funny because when I made that one chef knife like a year and a half ago, he's like, "Man, you made it all backwards. The handle was all backwards and stuff." But I'm like, dude, I've never owned a chef's knife in my life. I don't cook with these things. If I want a chef knife, I'll go to Walmart and buy a set. Bootleg's blade, yes, he does CNC now. Yeah, Go Customs is all CNC. But man, that CNC machine he has is like an older machine. But man, that dude does some wicked knives and stuff. His old tutorials, I still go back and watch them. But I think I got off that topic is, yeah, even stuff like that. All these guys that are doing tutorials, basically we're all, we were all where you are, and we found what works best for us. Basically, I'm speaking for myself, but I have an idea now that I've watched all these people. It's like, and you go back and you're watching, it's like, oh well, that doesn't work for me. And when I tried to make that work for me, I got discouraged, and I learned how to do it my way. And these tutorials, that's what they're all about. It's about showing you the process, but kind of guiding you, and hopefully you can figure out how you want to hold it. And see, that's the big difference between like Niels Vandenberg. He has a whole class or a whole big warehouse. He just set up a new one even, and he has students come every Saturday, and he teaches them blacksmithing and forging and how to make knives and stuff like that. But it's different when you're watching a video than having someone stand there and being like, okay, you're holding this wrong, or kind of guide you and see what you're doing wrong to kind of help you fix what you're doing wrong, if that makes sense. Oh, you know what I did? That's right. For my whetstones, you know, you get that rubber thing that, you know, you put the stones in it and you clamp it down. It's like $20, and it's on rails. You open it and close it. So what I do is I put that, and I put a block of wood. I got this from my friend. This is how he does it. Well, he had me because he knew I was a carpenter. You take a piece of wood. Yeah. In fact, this is probably, hold on. This is probably where this piece of wood came from. You take a piece of wood like that, and then you screw two small pieces under here that go right in the sink. You know, say here's your sink well. So you put the pieces of wood that go right in your sink. Boom. Then you put that rubber piece on here with your whetstone. That way you can have the sink water come right over your stone and sharpen. Boom, 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 boom. And this piece of wood can't go anywhere because it's locked into the sink. If that's what you guys are talking about. Whoop. You guys like my purple shorts? They probably don't look purple on this. I've been on a purple kick lately. Yeah, man. But yeah. You got put two neodymium magnets. Now, when you're talking about putting magnets, are you talking about putting magnets to hold up your knives, like on the wall, or are you talking about it for your sharpening stones? Maybe I misunderstood. I thought you were putting magnets to hold your the plate for your stones down or something. I'm trying to keep up. You know I can't read. At least I actually remember to wipe down my glasses this time. Oh, man. But, so that whole hand sanding thing I've been doing, like the difference between, you know, hand sanding, how I'm trying to get away from hand sanding. This should show you the difference. Like this is like a, now let me turn this light on again. This is like a Scotch Brite. You know, you can see grind lines in it. Hopefully. Let's see. Yeah, you can kind of see grind lines. So this is like, I think, an 800 cork belt. Boom. But when I was doing all the hand sanding, you know, here's your hand sand finish. You have no grind lines. Everything's nice and smooth and polished and shiny. And so, you know, hand sanding, well, let me take that back. Oh, Stalking Wolf, what's going on? Better late than never. You got that right. I got these belts. And they're like a cloth backing. But they're like 1,000, 1,200, and I think one even goes up to 2,500, if I'm not mistaken. So I haven't given up on the belt progress yet. I'll go down fighting. I refuse to hand sand. Oh, man. I've actually had footage of me hand sanding a few things that I've had on my disc on my hard drive for a while. Oh, I know what it was. Was it this one? It might have been this one. Oh, no. It was the handles. I was going to say, wait, I didn't hand sand any blades. I refuse. It's these handles. All three of these handles I had to hand sand. Now there's no trick to getting around that. Unfortunately. Believe me, if I could, I would. Man, Steve's knife came out nice. I will say it's a little too small for my hand. But man, it fits right in the hand. Which, you know, honestly, I haven't talked to Steve in a long time. I think he's mad at me for some reason. He unfollowed me on Instagram and stuff like that, so I don't know. Maybe that's just me reading into things too much, but I hope he's doing well, man. I wish him all the best. I learned a lot from him. He was a good guy, so. Oh. I know Bootleg Blade saw this because he follows me on Instagram, but check this out, you guys. I got the door. Boom. I got the door on the oven. I made another door for the little oven. And then, excuse me, last night I was like, man, do I want to finish these kydex? Or do I want to clean up the room with the heat treat oven and all that? And I wanted to do kydex, but my OCD's like, man. See, I think that's why I have this cough, because of all this dust down here. You know, I clean up and stuff, but man, there's so much dust everywhere. I just need to do a thorough clean. And even, it's funny now, because one thing about me is like, okay, I'll have a mess here, and I'll move that mess from where I'm working to somewhere I'm not working, and then go back to working. So, you know, my heat treat room and this room stay fairly clean where I can walk around and fairly manageable and stuff like that. But beyond these two rooms, man, boxes were piling up, you know, where I buy belts and stuff and just throw, you know, the boxes down in a big pile. So I could walk in this room, I could walk out into the heat treat room, but trying to go anywhere else in this basement was just like a little pathway. And it's like, man. So I asked the lady, you know, can you come down here and clean? And last month she actually cleaned my shop, which if you guys remember, she kept hiding stuff from me or putting things away so I couldn't find it. But I was like, okay, next month I'll save up and can you do the boxes and all that? So now I'm not used to it. I can actually walk down the stairs and walk in my whole basement. It's like, oh man, I'm trying to like go like this, and I'm like a, you know, like one of those lions that been in captive for years. They, you know, you take them out of the cage and they still walk the same line, which, you know, that's sad, and that really gets me upset. But it's an example. Ah, whew. Yeah, man. Oh. So I think I figured out the problem why my welding is so bad, because I wear glasses like this, you know, so I can see just enough. Like I can read what's going on here, but if it comes to like reading small print like this, it's a little blurry. Which I used to not have to wear glasses for anything. So, but I also think, you know, a lot of the things, like wearing these glasses, which now I think these are like a 1.2, and I've got all the way up to like a 2.5 now. And so I put on like the 2.0s, and I did some welding. I was like, oh man, I can actually see what I'm welding, which kind of is good, but it kind of scares me, because if I start wearing those glasses, you know, is it going to hurt my eyes more by seeing that light magnified? So it's like, man, do I worry about better welds, or do I worry about, you know, my long-term vision? So I think for now, I'll just keep, I think for now I'll just keep my bad welds. Because I was amazed, because it's like, you know, I'll kick the welder on, you know, I'll put it exactly where I want, and then I'll kick it on, and I'm kind of blindly, you know, going, and I'll take it off, and sometimes it's like, oh man, that came out good. Sometimes like, damn, I completely missed what I was trying to weld. And that's why a lot of times you'll see it, me going over, and then another blob over that, so to like link it all together. Chip, he says he bought a welder like 6 months ago, but it's still in the box. Chip, there's a guy called Chucky 2009. Now, I'm sure you've heard me talk about him here before. His new videos are about farming and stuff like that. But if you go on his channel and you look under playlist, he has a whole series on MIG welding, whole series on, TIG welding, on stick welding. I think he likes stick welding the best. So whatever kind of welding you want to. And he also has what not to do. The mistakes of what bad was. Man, he had that's how he got started in YouTube. It's like years and years of him teaching how to weld. And then I guess he was a welder for a couple years and started getting good on YouTube and being good as a professional welder. And he's always he grew up in Ohio and then moved to Texas. Oh, look, I'm sweating too much. That stuff wouldn't even hold up. Those wipes. And I think he's always been into tractors. But now he's like real. He buys. I think he's got like 10 tractors on his lot where he lives now. Bootleg blades. He had LASIK, but used to weld with contacts and glasses. See, my friend keeps getting on me. He's like, man, you need to go to the eye doctor. I've never been to last time I was at the eye doctor, I was like 35, and they're like, you got 20/15 vision, better than perfect. It wasn't until I think when I had my heart surgery and all that, they said I had like small strokes. Because every once in a while I see like squigglies in my eyes and stuff. So I think that affected my eyesight big time. Plus, the welding and just anything like that. But, and that's, man, I'll tell you what, it's hard getting used to not being able to see, because I've got like 2-3 pairs of glasses now in my car, and I've got glasses, everywhere. But if I'm driving in my car, I forget to grab them and take them into the stores. So I'll be in the stores and I'll just be like, ah. In fact, I went into the bank to cash a check or deposit one of Mom's checks, and I had to ask the lady to write it out for me because I was like, I can't read these numbers. Can you do this for me? I forgot my glasses. And it's like, man, turning it into an old man. I'm going to have to get one of those pocket, my dad used to wear those all the time. One of those shirts with the pockets on them. Put your glasses in. So, man, it took, Stalking Wolf got to bounce. Catch you on the next one. Yeah, take it easy, Stalking Wolf. But man, yeah, I'm not used to having to wear glasses. But like I was saying, my friend's like, man, go to the eye doctor and get your eyes checked out. And I'm like, oh, well, I can see now because I've got these. I started out with like 1s, 1.25s, and now I put these on and things are blurry. And it's like, ah. So, I'm going to have to bite the bullet and go to the eye doctor because, I might be making my eyes worse by just using reading glasses and stuff like that. So, because, when I'm trying to read with these, it's fine. But when I walk around, they kind of hurt my eyes because I got, long vision, I'm good. But see, now I can't even read like the chat anymore. So, yeah, man, I gotta get it done. It took a long time to come to grips with losing my eyesight because that was like I've always had bad hair. My hair's always been really super curly and stuff like that and whatever. But man, I got better than perfect eye vision. So letting that go has been a hard one to do. Oh man. Yeah, man. So man, my week started out pretty interesting. Sunday night, my toilet started running, Every 5 minutes you'd hear it turn on and turn off, and 5 minutes later, turn on and turn off. And I know a bit about plumbing. I was like a plumber's helper and stuff. But, I knew I had to get it done, which is basically another reason I didn't get, that was actually where the whole priorities over progress came, because fixing that toilet was definitely a priority I had to take care of. And man, I don't know what it is about, say I get up early, I run to this store, then I go run this errand and run that errand. Something about taking care of all these errands, I get home and, I just don't want to. It's like that was my day is shot. I don't know why I do that. It's just this weird thing. It's like I go out and run all these errands and do all this other stuff, and I can't get back in the work mode for some reason. But anyway, so I knew it was pretty much the flapper or whatever, but, we got an old toilet. We've lived here 47 years or whatever it is. And I don't think I've ever taken the back off. Like, to do that whole flapper replacement, you have to take the whole back off, which is like, oh man, I don't want to do that. But, so, and like I say, damn Murphy's Law. I'm sitting there at Home Depot and it's like, well, I could buy just the flapper, or I could buy the whole replacement. And I know, in my heart of hearts, if I just buy the flapper, I'm going to come home, I'm going to put the flapper on, and it's going to still leak. That's just the way things go for me. But it wasn't too bad, because just the flapper was like $6, and the whole thing was like $9. It's like, well, you get the flapper anyway, you might as well spend the $9. That way, if it is messed up, you don't have to drive all the way back to Home Depot and, go through that whole thing. But of course, I got home and it was just a flapper, which is like, man, here we go. But, I tricked Murphy's Law, because I didn't want to take that whole damn back of the toilet off anyway. I win! Oh. Chip says I could have done a video on fixing the toilet. Oh, man. Yeah. Like, I ordered some steel, some 4-inch steel, and I'm going to make another quench tank to see if, like, the ammo quench tank is better than, you see all these guys like Alex Steele. Well, Alex Steele has the one that's like this tall. It's like 4 inches, because a lot of, like, I remember reading when I started knife making, oh, when you quench your knives, you have to quench north to south. If you don't quench north to south, you're going to warp your blade. And, all these things, like I've always said, man, you got to test them out. What happens if I don't go north to south? And for the longest time, I'll be honest, when it said go north to south, I'm like, okay, my house is set up, DC is east, so north to south is this way. When they're talking about, going north to south this way. Oh, man. But so I'm going to actually weld up one of those things and then fill it up with parks. And that way I'll have my parks in that and my McMaster and my ammo can to see if there's any difference. Yeah, Bootleg Blake did that video of him cutting up that tree. I swear, man, I was just waiting for you to fall off that roof, too. Or I was waiting for you to cut that limb and to come back and sock you in the head. It would have gone viral. Oh. No, man. Oh. Yeah, so I plan on doing that, see if the quench tank is straight up and down, or, I've always, I use that ammo tank and I go sideways and I haven't had a problem. And the funny thing is, these guys that tell you this stuff, it's like I say, it's always that, one guy passes it on to another guy. He got this bad information from someone that, oh, man, I've made 10 knives and I messed all 9 of them up, but then I did it this way. And all of a sudden it was great. So this is where it works best. You have to do it this way. Well, man, you just might have lucked out and, who knows what what stars align to make that one right and these 9 wrong, or what you did wrong on these 9. You know, it might have not had nothing to do. Like with normalizing. If you watch like my older videos, I had a discussion with Chip about this. I think it was last week. You watch my older videos. I used to wrap all my blades in this stainless steel foil and all that, and normalize them and all this stuff. And lately, I haven't been normalizing my stock removal blades. And there's a big discussion, you know, about do you need to normalize or not. And honestly, I don't know. You know, I want to do that test too, where I take 2 blades, I grind them out, I normalize one, and I don't normalize the other. Now, if you forge your knives and stuff like that, yes, you have to normalize, because that's the whole point. You're taking that steel above critical, you're taking it above like 1600, 1700 degrees. So you're growing grains in the steel. And when you normalize it, it brings the grains back down, it brings the carbides back down. But when you do stock removal, see, my old theory was, well, you're grinding on these knives, you're stressing the, you know, you're drilling through it and all that, and doing all this stuff to the knife, and you're stressing it out. And I have a lot of blades that would warp. But like I say, that could have been me just not straightening the blades before I heat treated them. Or something else I did. You know, it might not have even been normalizing. But the last few blades that I heat treated, you know, I just put it in the press. I made sure were perfectly straight. And they came out perfectly straight. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll have to do that test. Because I think the only time you need to normalize, because your steel, when you buy from a supplier, now if you're buying like mystery steel, you know, like 5160 or something, or some kind of spring steel, or some kind of leaf springs, you probably have to normalize it. But if you're buying your steel from a supplier, they anneal it already and they pickle it, which pickling just means, you know, makes it so it doesn't rust and all that. Basically. I can't explain pickling. I know, basically, you know, it's that, you know, you wipe that stuff on, you pickle it, and, you know, it's like a coating. Now, I will say, like Admiral steel, excuse me, like Jantz, and Jantz gets their steel from Admiral. For some reason, their 1095, if you don't take that top coating off, you'll have problems with the heat treating. I've done it on a few knives where I had one knife I didn't heat treat. I mean, I didn't grind the bevels till after, and I had a whole bunch of problems with the heat treat. In fact, there's a video a while ago about that. And then the ones where I did grind the bevel were fine because that top layer came off. It was like the first time I ever failed at heat treating. But anyway, so yeah, the blade already comes annealed, so I don't think you need to normalize. But really, there's only one way to tell if you need to normalize or not. And that's by making a blade, breaking it in half, and looking at the structure of the grain. You know, you want a really tight grain, really, you know, smooth grain. So that's another video on my to-do list. But now I got 2 ovens, so I could probably do it a lot quicker. Whew. Right, Bootleg Blade says, so with stock removal, you don't have to normalize. But if they didn't normalize the steel at the steel plant, you won't know. So normalizing is a good idea. Actually, usually when you buy steel online, it says, you know, if you go to New Jersey Steel Bear and, you know, Alpha Knife Supply, Jantz, it usually says pickled and annealed, or this steel comes annealed. So, that's, you know, and also another way you'll know, excuse me, well, if you use an angle grinder to cut your knife blank out, you won't know because angle grinder goes right through hardened steel. But if you use like a saw blade or you go to drill holes And it's like, and you can't drill it. If you got new bits, then that steel is hard and it hasn't been annealed. That's the whole point. You know, that was one of the good things about having the big heat treat oven with the ramp and soak PID, because I could set it to like 1500 and then step it down to 1200 over an hour and then step it back down and or step it down to 1300 an hour and then down to 12 and then stick it in vermiculite. And a lot of people are like, "Oh man, you don't need to do all that to anneal 5160. Just heat it up to 1500 and stick it in the vermiculite." I was like, "Oh really? Have you tried that?" Because that was the first thing I tried and it didn't work so well. I mean, it worked. It was a little softer, but the drill bit still didn't go through it. So, oh, yeah, you know. See, the way I used to normalize, like I said, is I'd wrap everything in those stainless steel foil packs, or I'd make the hold on. This stuff. When you got stainless steel, you need this. But there's two types. There's the 2200 degree stuff, and then there's the 2000 degree stuff. So what I would do, I would wrap my knives in that to normalize it. That way, when you bring your knife up to 1500 degrees, you don't get all that scale and decarb on it. And your knives come out, just like they look, with a little bit of color in them. Bootleg blade. I just recently started normalizing everything because I like to make everything more difficult. Hey, I did it too, man. In fact, like I said, I would wrap all my blades, which took even more time. But I'll tell you, you don't get all that scale and decarb and stuff, and they come out real nice. And then you put anti-scale on them, and boom. You don't have to sit there and fight all that decarb, because decarb is bad. That's... Let me see. Decarb, that's when your blade gets too hot, so all the carbides bleed out, which I'm explaining it wrong, but yeah, you don't want decarb. That's what, that and scale. I'm sitting here trying to, I know it in my head what it is, but trying to explain it, it's like, man, I'm going to tell them the wrong thing, and then there I am passing off bad information where I'm complaining about people that pass bad information. Yeah, but if you look up decarb, the whole Martin site and all that stuff, and so, but it's a hard thing to explain, but it's something you should learn if you're into heat treating or knife making. Definitely. Yeah, Outdoor 55, I saw him doing that normalizing too. It's actually what made me think of it, because he was saying exactly what I used to say. Oh, you have to normalize this, and I think he was doing that 101 blade, and he's like, I didn't normalize this when I normalized everything else, or I don't know. I'm paraphrasing, but anyway. Woo, it's 4 o'clock. Good Lord. What do you guys got to tell me to stop rambling? Dave, you're talking too much. We had it. All right. Oh, man. Plus, I'm out of water. All right. Yeah. I'm out of water. I was going to say something else, but it's water. It's water with a little bit of B vitamin in it, which... That's why I get all pumped and jacked, so. It's like the natural caffeine, so. Oh, man. All right, so that's about it. Amazon links and my new shirts and all that are up there on my website. It's daveerving.com. Links are down below, and they should be up in the cards if you're watching the repost of this. It was a good, fun live stream. Man, I swear, I never did this before I started this live stream, so I don't know where it's just like one of those little ticks. All right, yeah. So website, go check it out. Hopefully within the next week I'll have 4 or 5 knives up there. There's 2 up there now. The new shirts, the old shirts are up there. All my Amazon links and stuff like that. But yeah. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you all have a great rest of the weekend. And if you come by just for the live stream, I hope your next week's good. I'm going to try to get out 2 videos. If I only get 1, then at least we got that 1, right? So, yeah, that's it. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate all the support. Really appreciate you all coming by. As always, take it easy.